Okay, this screencast is about the definition of poetry assignment you did. And I want to point out some good ones, good responses here. This is an interesting definition here, one that I don't necessarily agree with, but I'm interested in seeing how it's pulled off. I love the repetition of the words can here. Can be this. We can see. It can be a tool. So I think that's a very powerful way to look at poetry, is it can do things. It's an active thing. These are amongst my favorite words. In other words, most people were failing to elaborate on what they meant. They were expecting me to elaborate for them. And, you know, if you're using these words a lot, then you're probably succeeding in almost any assignment that you do. It's a good start here. To me, poetry is whatever I want it to be. Remember, I always ask you to relate any question to your own life. And that's always a good thing. You know, elaborating and relating things to your own life are always good things to do when you answer any of my questions. Another important thing to do is to answer the question. You know, address all of the texts. That one, that one, that one, and that one. And then relate it to things that you already know. There's a mention of the Divine Comedy and Kubla Khan. When I asked for a non-example, it's pretty important too. I mean, you know, descriptions can be poetic, but are they poetry? I think everybody's experience with poetry is not as limited as they think. Maybe you haven't studied it formally, but there's a lot of informal understanding that you bring to anything. Music, for example. Some lyrics in music are immediately accessible as poetry, some aren't. Some rely as much on the rhythm and the sound as anything. But this is a particularly good example of how I want you to respond to an assignment. Thanks, Leonard.